Hello, and thank you for taking the time to go over the Baker Hughes Canada, or BHN, carrier freight billing requirements. Starting with the overview, Ryder will process freight payments for Baker Hughes Canada in-scope product lines. Pressure pumping and chemicals, petrolite, are out of scope. At this time, Baker Hughes will continue to contact and schedule services directly with the transportation provider. Invoices must be billed at a shipment level detail, one shipment per invoice. Load consolidations are allowed when approved by the shipper. Original invoices must be submitted within 180 days of the ship date. Invoices and any balances older than 18 months will not be processed per Baker Hughes. Invoices must be submitted directly to Ryder per the instructions in this presentation. Submitting invoices directly to Baker Hughes locations will cause delay in payment and possibly rejection. Origin and destination must be Canada. International shipments are not in scope. For the EDI specs, it can be found at the URL provided in this slide. Carrier freight bill invoice requirements. Each submission must accurately contain the following checked information. I'm not going to go over each check, but I will go over the two that I find to be the most important to never forget. Starting with the first one, total shipment weight. This must be actual weight or an accurate estimate. It cannot be zero. If an invoice is submitted with the total shipment weight as blank or zero, it will be rejected. The second one, the BOL number field. Just like the shipment weight, this field cannot be left blank, or it cannot be left blank. If it is blank, the invoice will automatically be rejected. So if you are not able to find the reference number to put into the BOL field, just put no number or none. Accessorial codes. All charges outside of line haul must be broken out as an accessorial charge using the codes provided below. No lump sum billing. Equipment codes. Each equipment has a specific code that needs to be submitted for the invoice, and the equipment size needs to be 95 for hourly shipments. These are the reference numbers, and one of these numbers should be going into the BOL field when you submit the invoice. Carrier freight bill invoice requirements. The original invoice, freight, fuel, and accessorials, a balance due. These must be submitted through EDI or Ryder Online Web Billing with original invoice number. If you're using Ryder Online or ROL, please select the supplemental bill box. Carrier invoicing responsibilities. Once invoices have been submitted, an EDI 997 or web invoicing confirmation will be sent indicating that the invoices have been successfully received at Ryder. Support document submission instructions. These instructions are very strict and must be followed to the T in order for the invoice to avoid being rejected. So the carrier must submit an electronic PDF to bhndocuments@ryder.com according to the following instructions. So starting with the first section, format for the supporting documentation emails. The only file type that is acceptable is PDF. Any other file formats will not be accepted and will need to be corrected and resent. One email per invoice, one attachment per email. Images must be removed from the body of the email, including the signature and background. Subject line must contain only the below information separated by an underscore. The carrier SCAC, the customer code, which will always be BHN, the document type, which always will be EM, carrier invoice or pro number, and then the BOL number. The BOL number is an optional and is not required. The only accepted, there's only two accepted formats whenever submitting the invoices, and you can see that they're below. The first one is the carrier SCAC, ABCD, underscore, followed by the customer code, which is BHN, followed by an underscore, which is then by the documentation type, which is EM, with an underscore, and then the carrier pro or invoice number. And then the second one is all of that same information, but with the BOL number added at the end. Financial settlement overview. These are the steps that the invoice will go through once submitted and received by Ryder. Carrier invoicing, then followed by the BHN audit, followed by Ryder and Baker Hughes final client funding, and then the method of carrier payment. Carrier payment inquiry. To check the status of invoices, access Ryder's online payment inquiry tool at the URL provided. To obtain payment inquiry user access and join a payment inquiry training session, send an email to the paymentinquiry@ryder.com email. This will train carriers on how to run their aging reports and understand the status messages and the next steps in the freight bill audit and payment process. Enforces Ryder requirements for carriers to utilize the payment inquiry tool before escalating payment concerns to the payment inquiry@ryder.com or calling the payment inquiry team at 888-811-3989. Any escalations can be sent to the escalation team, which is the BHIFBAP@ryder.com email. Ryder contacts. So any questions you might have can be answered by one of these following people. You can see that each person is responsible for a certain subject. So just find, the person that you think is responsible for that question and then get with them so that they can help with whatever questions you might have. Thank you for taking the time for the Baker Hughes Canada Freight Billing Requirements Overview.